You were taught that strength means never struggling, that real strength is about always being in control, never doubting yourself, never feeling afraid. But that's a lie. Strength isn't about never falling, it's about getting back up every single time. Think about it. Who is stronger, the person who never faces a challenge or the one who fights through every obstacle and refuses to quit? Strength isn't about never feeling weak. It's about pushing forward even when you do. Every time you struggle, every time you question yourself, there's a hidden opportunity, because struggle isn't proof of weakness. It's proof that you're in the process of becoming stronger. The people who succeed aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who faced their fears and kept going anyway. What you call weakness, it's just power being used the wrong way. The energy you spend doubting yourself, hesitating, overthinking, it's the same energy that could build the life you want. The difference, where you choose to direct it. It starts with a shift. Stop seeing fear as the enemy. Stop believing that struggle means you're failing. Every challenge, every setback, every difficult moment, it's all shaping you into the person you were meant to become. But first, you have to stop believing the lies, the ones that tell you you're not enough, that you're too broken, too late, too far behind. Those voices aren't telling the truth, they're just repeating old fears. And the moment you stop listening is the moment you take your power back. There are three voices that'll try to keep you stuck. The first is the critic. It tells you you're not good enough, that no matter what you do, you'll always fall short. It compares you to others, picks apart your flaws, and makes sure you never feel worthy. Then, there's the victim. This voice convinces you that life is happening to you, not for you, that you have no control, that things will never change. It keeps you blaming instead of building, making sure you stay exactly where you are. And finally, the quitter. This voice whispers, "What's the point?" It tells you it's easier to give up, that success is for other people, not you. It thrives on excuses and complacency, feeding on every moment of hesitation. Each of these voices has one goal: to keep you from stepping into your power. But the moment you recognize them, they lose their grip. You don't fight these voices with hope, you fight them with truth. When the critic says, "You're not good enough," you say, "I am learning, I am growing, and I'm getting better every day." When the victim says, "Why me?" you say, "What can I do to change this?" And when the quitter says, "Just give up," you say, "Just one more step." You spent too much time believing the wrong voices. It's time to listen to the one that matters. The one that knows your worth, your strength, your potential. The one that's been waiting for you to finally hear it. And once you do, nothing will ever be the same again. There is a war happening in your mind every single day, a battle between who you truly are and who you've been told to be, between the future you're capable of creating and the limits you've been conditioned to believe in. You don't wake up with doubt, hesitation, or fear naturally ingrained in you. These things were planted over time. From the moment you were born, you were surrounded by messages telling you what you could and couldn't do. Some people encouraged you, but many more handed you a list of rules, limits, and expectations. They shaped the way you saw yourself before you even had the chance to decide for yourself, and now you carry those voices with you. They echo in your mind every time you consider taking a risk, speaking up, or stepping outside your comfort zone. But recognizing that these voices aren't your own is the first step to breaking free from their control. Since childhood, you were placed inside a box, a set of invisible walls built by the world around you. These walls were created by rules that told you what was realistic, what was safe, what was expected. You were told who you were before you ever had a chance to explore your own potential. Maybe you were labeled as quiet, rebellious, average, or incapable. Maybe you were told to stay in your lane, to follow the safe path, to not aim too high. Over time, those words stopped being something you heard, they became something you believed. The pressure to conform isn't always obvious, but it shapes everything. You hesitate before making decisions, afraid of what others will think. You avoid risks because failure feels unacceptable. You hold back your ideas because standing out seems dangerous, but none of these limits were created by you. You inherited them, and if you've ever felt trapped, stuck, or uncertain about your own power, this is why. You were never meant to live inside a box someone else built for you. Then came the moments that reinforced your doubt. The times you failed, got rejected, or made mistakes. The world taught you that failure meant you weren't good enough, that rejection meant you weren't worthy, that struggle meant you were weak, and you believed it. Every time something didn't go your way, it felt like confirmation of all the fears you already had. You started avoiding anything that could lead to failure. You played small, settled for less, and convinced yourself that maybe this was just how life was supposed to be. But what if you were wrong? What if those struggles weren't proof of your weakness, but proof of your strength? What if every challenge you faced was meant to shape you, not break you? Your past doesn't define you unless you let it. The mistakes you've made, the pain you felt, the doors that closed in your face, they don't mean you're not good enough. They mean you've been through something that most people would have given up on. And yet, you're still here, still searching, still fighting. That alone means you're stronger than you think. Not all of the doubt in your mind came from your own experiences. Some of it came from the people around you. Maybe they didn't believe in themselves, so they convinced you not to believe in yourself either. Maybe they projected their own fears onto you, warning you against risks they were too afraid to take. Maybe they meant well, or maybe they didn't, but either way, their voices became part of yours. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from chasing a dream because of something someone else said? How often do you replay words from the past, words that made you feel small, powerless, or incapable? You didn't create those voices, but you've been carrying them, and the longer you listen, the more they shape the way you see yourself. If you let the wrong voices take control, they will dictate your life, and which ones don't belong to you at all. Because if you let the wrong voices take control, they will dictate your life. And you will wake up years from now realizing that you never lived for yourself. You lived under the weight of someone else's doubt. But that doesn't have to be your story. You get to choose which voices stay and which ones you silence for good. You are not weak. You are not broken. You have simply been listening to the wrong voices for too long. Every doubt, every hesitation, every moment of uncertainty, it's not your truth. It's just an echo of the past, and the moment you recognize that, you take back your power. So now you have a choice. You can keep letting these voices dictate your life, or you can rewrite the script. You can decide right now that you will no longer be controlled by fear, by doubt, by the limits placed on you by others. You can step into the person you were always meant to be, because in the end, the only voice that truly matters is yours. And once you start listening to it, everything changes. You've been told a lie about strength your entire life. You were taught that strength means never feeling fear, never having doubt, never showing weakness, that the strongest people are the ones who never hesitate, never question themselves, never break. But that's not strength. That's an illusion. The truth is, the strongest people in the world feel fear. They doubt themselves, they struggle, just like you. The only difference? They don't let it stop them. Real strength isn't about avoiding fear, it's about what you do in the face of it. It's about standing tall even when everything inside you wants to run. It's about pushing forward even when you don't feel ready. The ones who win in life aren't the ones who never felt weak. They're the ones who refuse to let weakness define them. Strength isn't about never falling, it's about getting back up every time. It's about persistence when everything tells you to quit. Strength is facing your challenges head on even when you're scared, even when you don't know what's on the other side. Strength isn't found in avoiding struggle. Think about the people you admire, the ones who have achieved greatness, who have built something out of nothing, who have overcome impossible odds. None of them got there without falling. None of them got there without pain. Strength isn't about never facing obstacles. It's about what you do when you meet them. And what if the moments you thought were proof of your weakness were actually proof of your strength? What if every time you got back up, every time you fought through the pain, you weren't failing, you were growing? Struggle isn't a sign that you're losing, it's a sign that you're in the process of becoming something more. Every battle you face is shaping you into something greater. You don't build muscle without resistance. You don't gain wisdom without hardship. You don't grow without discomfort. The strongest people aren't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who turned their pain into power. Look at your struggles, the failures, the losses, the moments that made you question everything. What if those weren't roadblocks? What if they were stepping stones? What if the very thing you're fighting against is the thing making you unstoppable? Pain isn't the enemy, fear isn't the enemy, struggle isn't the enemy. The only enemy is the belief that these things make you weak. They don't, they make you strong. What if I told you that what you call weakness is actually just misused power? The energy you spend doubting yourself is the same energy that could build the life you want. The overthinking, the hesitation, the constant questioning, it's all energy And energy, when redirected, can create something incredible. Self-doubt doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't, the ones who succeed stop listening to the doubt and take action anyway. They feel the fear but move forward anyway. They recognize that doubt is just a thought, not a fact. You have the same power inside you. You always have. The only question is, what are you going to do with it? Start questioning the voice that tells you you're weak. Where did it come from? Who put that belief in your mind? Was it a past failure? Was it someone else's doubt? Because if you didn't create that voice, then why are you still listening to it? Weakness isn't the absence of strength, it's just strength that hasn't been trained yet. Every skill, every mindset, every belief, you can build it. You can rewire the way you see yourself. The moment you decide to see yourself differently is the moment everything starts to change. So ask yourself, will you keep believing the lie, or will you rewrite your story? Because your story isn't over, and your strength, it's just waiting to be unleashed. Every day, there's a war happening inside your mind, a battle between the voice that wants you to grow and the voice that wants you to stay the same. The wrong voices don't just hold you back, they trap you in a cycle of self-doubt and hesitation. They make you question yourself, hesitate, and overthink. They make you believe that you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that your dreams are too big for you. If you've ever felt stuck, it's not because you're incapable, it's because you've been listening to the wrong voices for too long. You've accepted these thoughts as your own, when in reality they were planted by experiences, fears, and outside influences. The first step to breaking free is recognizing the enemy within. Until you do, you will keep making choices based on a belief system that was never meant to serve you. But once you see it for what it is, you can take control. There is a voice in your mind that does nothing but tear you down. It whispers, you're not good enough, you'll never make it, why even try? It takes every mistake, every flaw, and magnifies it until it feels like proof that you'll never succeed. It makes you compare yourself to others, always falling short. It reminds you of every failure and convinces you that success is for other people, not for you. But where did this voice come from? It wasn't there when you were a child, fearless and full of dreams. It was introduced to you over time, maybe from past failures, maybe from critical parents, teachers, or experiences that made you feel like you weren't enough. And now it plays in the background of your life like a constant repeating loop. But here's the truth, that voice is a liar. It was never based on fact, it was never proof of anything real, it was just words, just fear, just a program running in your mind. And now it's time to stop believing it. You are not defined by your flaws, by your past, or by your failures. You are defined by what you choose to do next. And the moment you decide to silence the critic is the moment you take back your power. Another voice keeps you stuck in the same place, making you believe that life is happening to you, not for you. It tells you that your problems are bigger than you, that nothing is your fault, that the circumstances of your life are the reason you can't move forward. This voice keeps you in a loop of blaming, complaining, and waiting for something to change. The result, you stay stuck. You convince yourself that things will be different someday, that when the right opportunity comes, when the right person believes in you, when the right moment arrives, then you'll take action. But that moment never comes because the problem was never outside of you, it was always within. The shift happens the moment you stop listening to the victim and start taking ownership. Yes, life is unfair. Yes, bad things happen, but what you do next is entirely up to you. The moment you stop blaming and start building, you take back your power because no one is coming to save you. And the truth is, no one needs to. Everything you need to move forward is already inside of you. Then there's the quitter, the voice that convinces you that nothing is worth the effort, that success takes too long, that you'll probably fail, so why even try? It thrives on exhaustion, discouragement, and fear. It shows up when things get hard, when progress feels slow, when setbacks make you question whether you're even on the right path. This voice tells you to settle, to take the easy route, to stop trying. And for a moment, giving up feels like relief. It feels like freedom. But that feeling doesn't last, because deep down you know you're capable of more. You know that quitting is just postponing the work you'll have to face later. The truth is, the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It isn't luck. It isn't even intelligence. It's the ability to keep going even when the quitter voice is screaming at you to stop. It's pushing forward, not because it's easy, but because you refuse to stay where you are. And every time you silence that voice, every time you take another step forward, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. These voices only have power when you believe them. The moment you start challenging them, they begin to lose their grip. And the best way to fight back, speak the truth. When the critic says, "You're not good enough," you say, "I am learning. I am growing, and I am getting better every day." When the victim says, "Why me?" you say, "What can I do to change this?" When the quitter says, "Just give up," you say, "Just one more step." This is the formula. Recognize the thought, reframe it with truth, take action. The more you practice this, the weaker those voices become, until one day they are nothing more than whispers in the background. And your true voice, it becomes the loudest one in the room. Deep inside, there's a voice that knows you're capable, powerful, and worthy. It has always been there, but over time it has been drowned out by doubt, fear, and external influences. You weren't born questioning yourself. You weren't born hesitating before every decision, worrying about what others think or doubting your own abilities. That was learned. It came from experiences, failures, criticism, and the expectations placed on you by the world. If you've ever felt like you lost yourself, it's because you stopped listening to the voice that matters most, your own. The voice that knows what you are truly capable of, the one that pushes you forward, reminds you of your strength, and encourages you to step into the person you were meant to be. But it's been buried under the weight of negativity, of conditioning, of past mistakes that made you forget who you really are. It's time to turn down the noise and amplify your truth. If you don't program your mind, the world will do it for you. Every thought you allow in your mind shapes your beliefs and actions. If you constantly feed your mind negativity, doubt, and fear, that is what will control your decisions. But if you take control of your inner dialogue, if you start choosing the thoughts that build you up instead of break you down, everything begins to shift. What you tell yourself daily either strengthens you or weakens you. Every time you say, "I can't," you reinforce limitation. Every time you say, "I'll try," you reinforce uncertainty. But every time you say, "I will," you reinforce power. The goal isn't just to think positively, it's to speak with intention, to create self-talk that rewires the way you see yourself, because your words are more powerful than you realize. They shape your reality. And the more you speak strength into yourself, the more you become it. Clarity, consistency, control. These are the three pillars of a strong inner voice. Without them, your mind will default to fear, doubt, and hesitation. Clarity means defining exactly who you want to become. If you don't decide, someone else will decide for you. Who do you want to be? What kind of person do you want to show up as every day? If you don't have an answer, your mind will default to the version of you that plays small. Consistency is where real change happens. You don't reprogram your mind overnight. It takes daily effort. What you tell yourself repeatedly becomes your reality. If you constantly feed yourself thoughts of strength, growth, and determination, that becomes the foundation of who you are. It's not about saying it once, it's about saying it every single day until it becomes second nature. Control is about protecting your mind from outside noise. You can't stop negative voices from existing, but you can stop letting them dictate your life. You can choose which thoughts you entertain, which beliefs you reinforce, and which voices you allow to guide you. Your mind is yours. Own your thoughts, own your power. The first thoughts of your day dictate how you show up in the world. If you wake up thinking about stress, doubt, or everything that could go wrong, that sets the tone for your entire day. But if you start your morning by feeding your mind power, you take control before the world even has a chance to. Morning affirmations aren't just words, they're instructions for your subconscious to follow. When you wake up and say, "Today I show up strong," "Today I take action," "Today I refuse to let fear hold me back," you are giving your mind a clear directive. The way you speak to yourself in the morning determines how you handle challenges later. If you tell yourself you're capable, you'll approach problems with confidence. If you tell yourself you're not ready, you'll hesitate when it matters most. You've been conditioned to focus on your flaws, failures, and fears, but that ends today. Every day there is proof that you are growing, improving, and becoming stronger. The problem is, most people don't see it because they aren't looking for it. They focus on everything that went wrong instead of everything that went right. The key is to actively collect proof of your strength instead of ignoring it. Keep track of small wins. Notice the moments where you pushed through doubt. Acknowledge the times when you could have given up but didn't. Every step forward, no matter how small, is evidence that you are stronger than you think, and over time, the evidence of your power will outweigh any negative voice trying to hold you back. The people you listen to shape your beliefs, whether you realize it or not. If you're surrounded by negativity, doubt, and limitation, those voices will become your own. It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you constantly hear that success is out of reach, that dreams are unrealistic, that change is impossible, those ideas will start creeping into your mind. Protect your mind by choosing mentors, friends, and influences that reinforce your strength. Surround yourself with people who push you forward, who remind you of what's possible, who challenge you to grow instead of pulling you down, because you become what you constantly hear. And if you want to rise, you need to make sure the voices around you are lifting you higher, not holding you back. Every great achievement started as a thought. Before anything becomes reality, someone has to believe it's possible. Every invention, every breakthrough, every success story began with one thing: belief. Not talent, not luck, not even skill. Just belief. Your mind is the foundation of everything you do. If your belief is weak, your results will be weak. If you constantly doubt yourself, hesitate, or assume you're not capable, then every action you take will reflect that. The biggest reason people stay stuck isn't lack of opportunity, it's lack of belief. They talk themselves out of trying before they even begin. They convince themselves that success is for other people, not for them. But here's the truth: if you don't believe in yourself, who will? No one is going to hand you confidence. No one is going to build your belief for you. It has to start with you. Stop waiting for permission to be great. No one is coming to hand it to you. Too many people sit around waiting for a sign, waiting for the right moment, waiting for someone else to validate them. But confidence isn't something you get from the outside. It's something you decide. Your self-image dictates your actions. If you see yourself as weak, you will act weak. If you see yourself as incapable, you won't even try. But the opposite is also true. When you define who you are and commit to becoming that person, everything shifts. Clarity is power. The clearer you are about who you want to be, the easier it is to make decisions that align with that version of yourself. Confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from deciding. You don't become confident first and then take action. You take action first and confidence follows. Most people think they need to feel ready before they start. They tell themselves, once I feel more confident, then I'll take that step. But that's not how it works. Your brain believes what you repeatedly do, not what you wish for. If you want to be confident, you have to act like it before you feel like it. You have to step into that version of yourself before it feels natural. Start behaving like the person you want to become. How would that version of you carry themselves? How would they speak? What choices would they make? Start doing those things now. Every time you act in alignment with your future self, you strengthen your belief, and the stronger that belief becomes, the easier it is to keep moving forward. Doubt is a weed. If you don't pull it out, it will take over. If you let it grow unchecked, it spreads, it plants itself in your mind and convinces you to play small, to hesitate, to stay where it's safe. But here's what you need to understand: the mind clings to whatever you feed it. If you feed it doubt, doubt will grow. If you feed it belief, belief will grow. The most confident people in the world still have doubts. They still question themselves. The difference? They refuse to give those thoughts attention. They don't entertain them, they don't dwell on them, and they don't let them dictate their actions. They actively reject anything that contradicts the person they are becoming. And that is what you must do. The next time doubt creeps in, don't entertain it. Don't argue with it, just recognize it for what it is, a distraction, and move forward anyway. Confidence isn't found, it's built through action. Too many people think confidence is something you either have or you don't, but confidence is not a feeling, it's a habit. It's built through repeated action, through proof, through experience. And the longer you wait, the weaker your belief becomes. Action creates proof. Proof reinforces belief. When you take action, you give yourself evidence that you are capable. You prove to yourself that you can do it. And the more proof you collect, the stronger your belief becomes. That's why the simplest way to break self-doubt is to do something about it right now. Not later, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now. Take the first step, any step, because once you do, the cycle shifts, and what once felt impossible starts to feel inevitable. Each time you push through resistance, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. Every small win, every challenge you overcome, every moment you choose to act instead of hesitate, it all builds on itself. Confidence isn't built in a single moment. It's built in the moments you choose to keep going, even when it's hard. Small wins matter. Most people ignore them because they think only big successes count, but progress is progress. And when you start stacking small wins, they turn into unstoppable momentum. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. It's proving to yourself day after day that you are capable, that you are strong, that you can handle whatever comes your way. Confidence grows in direct proportion to how often you challenge yourself. The more you push through, the more proof you collect. And the more proof you collect, the more unshakable your belief becomes. Until one day you wake up and realize that the person you always wanted to be isn't some distant version of you, it's who you are right now. You are standing at a crossroads. Right now, in this moment, you have two choices. You can keep listening to the voices that have held you back, the ones that have fed you doubt, fear, and hesitation, or you can step into the voice that leads you forward, the voice that reminds you of your strength, your power, and your potential. This is not just about motivation, it's about making a permanent shift in how you see yourself. Every time you hesitate, every time you second guess yourself, you are making a choice. You are deciding which voice you will give power to. Will you keep feeding the voice that tells you to play small, to wait, to stay where it's safe? Or will you start feeding the voice that pushes you to rise, to step forward, to claim the life that is waiting for you? The time for passivity is over. The time for decisive action is now. What if fear had no control over you? What if doubt had no power? What would you be doing right now if you weren't waiting for permission, for the perfect moment, for some guarantee that everything will work out? Because the truth is, the strongest version of you is already inside you. That version of you exists. The one who refuses to listen to doubt. The one who moves forward despite fear. The one who takes action even when it's uncomfortable. The key to change isn't wishing for it. It's stepping into it, moment by moment, one decision at a time, one action at a time. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to start. Because the only thing standing between where you are now and where you want to be is the choice you make in this moment. You already have the strength inside you. Now it's time to let it lead. From this moment forward, the voice that guides you must be the one that builds you, not the one that breaks you. Every thought you accept, every belief you hold on to, every decision you make, it all shapes your future. What will you choose to believe? Will you keep believing in your doubts, your fears, and your limitations? Or will you choose to believe in your ability to rise, to grow, to become more than you ever thought possible? The shift happens the moment you stop letting doubt dictate your actions. Doubt will always be there, but it doesn't have to control you. Fear will still exist, but it doesn't have to stop you. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't that successful people never feel doubt. It's that they refuse to let doubt make their decisions for them. The decision to change isn't made someday. It's made right now, in this moment, and you are the only one who can make it. Change is a choice, and it starts with a declaration, a commitment to yourself that from this moment forward you will no longer be controlled by fear, doubt, or limitation. Speak these words aloud. I refuse to be controlled by fear. I refuse to be held back by doubt. I refuse to let limitations define my life. Mean it. Live it. Take action in alignment with it. This isn't just about saying the words, it's about becoming them. Because the truth is, no one else can make this choice for you. No one else can rewrite your story. No one else can take the steps you need to take. This is your moment of transformation. The only question is, will you claim it?